Welcome to lecture 9. We have seen about the how to design the IV equation, how we will get the IV curve, and what are the effect of series and parallel resistance, what is the effect of light intensity to the solar cell. That and all we have seen in last lecture. So in this lecture we will see how to design solar cell with contacts, some texturing process, some coating, that and all you can see here. Welcome to lecture 9. Myself Karthikeyan. So in lecture, what you will see that we will go through this one. So the outlines are, first we will see what is the principle of solar cell design. Then after the designing, there may be a losses that in the form of optical losses. There are other losses also that we will see here. Then next, method of reducing these losses. How? That is by anti-reflection coating, surface texturing, material thickness, and we can also see the recombination losses, contact design to the solar cell, and silicon solar cell parameter, and how efficiency we will get by designing this solar cell. That and all you can see in this lecture. First, we will see the solar cell design principle. So, while designing the solar cell, we want to get maximum efficiency with some constraint like how much electrons I have to doped, how much material thickness, how much intensity of light should be coming. That and all we have to take into consideration. And another thing, while designing the solar cell, the fabrication cost is much higher, so that's why most of the fabrication takes place which higher cost and higher carefulness. Like by fabrication of any solar cell or any wafer, we require 100% clean room with the high concentration ratio of the electron, because if any small kind of light will be incident on that fabrication, the wafer will be damaged. So high theoretical efficiency prediction assume a high concentration ratio. When intensity of light will be increases, that is directly proportional to the increasing in the short circuit current. So previously I told that when it is decreases intensity of light, the IV curves also decreases. That means short circuit current also started decreasing towards the zero. And when open circuit voltage and field factor are increases with the concentration, which allows concentrator to achieve the higher efficiency. So in order to get higher efficiency, I have to need to get increasing the open circuit voltage. Now we will see the optical losses. So optical losses affect the power from the solar cell by lowering the short circuit current. So in this optical losses, it consists of high light which could have generated an electron hole pair. Like if I get some amount of light, that of course generate some amount of electron hole pairs. But due to optical losses, it is difficult to do the electron hole pairs. So in this case, all the electrons, it is difficult to absorb the sunlight. So that is the main reason for optical losses. When light is reflected from the surface, it is cannot be absorbed completely by solar cell. So in this method we have to see how to reduce this optical losses. See in this image you can see that how light will be incidenting on the solar cell, but due to some surface and its high optical losses, it cannot completely go inside the electron hole pairs. What and all layer it containing? One is for a parasitic absorption loss, we have to consider that one. Then aluminum alloy has been deposited. Then p-type crystalline silicon. Then n-type silicon and ARC. This is anti-reflecting coating, and silver grid has been deposited here. If surface is not clear, not is containing the sufficient light to enter, it will be reflected from its surface only. So in this case we can't get sufficient intensity of light to the electron hole pairs. Now we will see the how to reduce these optical losses. So first of all we have to minimize the contact of the solar cell. We have to give only small contact with higher efficiency, and then we have to use anti-reflex coating at the top of the cell. There will be a small coating which can be minimize the optical losses. The reflection can be reduced by surface texturing also. It is nothing but smoothing the surface of the solar cell. Texturing means. Then if we made solar cell can be thicker to increase the absorption, then we will get the more number of light, but it is all depending on the wafer size. So if we go for the beyond the size of wafer, it is difficult to get the voltage. We may get some short circuit current, but there will be a mismatch in the voltage and current. So in this case, what will happen? Light can be absorbed by the electron hole pairs, but it is difficult to generate the short circuit current. The optical length of the solar cell may be increased by the combination of the surface texturing and light tapping, that and all we can do while fabricating the solar cell. Now we will see what is anti-reflection coating. This is one of the small thin layer to the solar cell. So here you can see there are two refractive index. One is refractive index of the air, another refractive index of the surface. If refractive index of the air is less than the surface, we will get the much more amount of the solar rays to inside. So we have to manage refractive index of the air with respect to the surface. So only sufficient amount of the solar rays have to be come in. So unwanted rays should be reflected out. That is the basic principle for anti-reflection coating. So this anti-reflection coating I already told, like there will be thin dielectric material. It can be anything. So this thickness, it is in the micrometer of the solar cell. So due to this coating we can get the much more light should be coming inside the electron hole pair, and remaining waves are reflected from the surface. In this one you can see how much thickness and how much thickness of the surface, that and all we made here. See, n naught, it is the refractive index of the air. Nf is the refractive index of the thin film, and Ns is the refractive index of the substrate. So when refractive index of the air is less than the substrate, it is easy to get into here. When refractive index of the substrate is much lower than the air, all the lights will be reflected out. And also we can make double layer anti-reflection coating. So it will be easy to get 98 to 100% of sunlight to the electron hole pair. So in double layer anti-reflection coating, that containing zinc sulfide, magnesium fluoride and silicon nitride, according to the fabrication process we will deposit this kind of a double layer anti-reflection coatings. So in this image you can see that refractive index of the air is 1 and refractive index of the coating is 1.38 and glass is 1.8. So now it is very easy to light coming into the inside, and unwanted light, it may be a high bandwidth or low frequency, that can be reflected out through this double layer anti-reflection coating. Now we will see the surface texturing. What is surface texturing? It is nothing but, in simple we can tell as a smoothen the surface. So there are different way of smoothing the surface. While smoothing, there are we have to take many consideration. One thing, it should not be any reflection. So by that thing, we are come up with some different idea. That is in pyramid shape. See, in pyramid shape of surface texturing, it will give the internal reflection. Like when light is incident this pyramid, it is reflected to one cone to another. Then due to, as we learned about a total internal reflection kind of thing, it is going to inside, then we will capture more number of rays to inside the solar cell. So surface texturing is the main importance to the designing solar cell in order to get the more number of solar rays inside the solar cell. In this one we can see the pyramid shape of surface texturing, and this type of texturing is called as a random pyramid structure. It is mainly used in the single crystal wafer, it containing only one single crystal. At that case we are using this pyramid type of surface texturing. So in pyramid type of structure you can see it is like this. This is surface, this is rays. When light rays is incidenting on here, it is reflect, then due to this one it is go this inside, then by while hitting this slide it starts moving towards here. If I more number of rays coming here or like this, if I get more number of rays to inside to the solar cell, so I can get more number of rays to produce electron hole pairs. Now we will see the material thickness. While the reduction of the reflection is an essential part for our designing solar cell. Okay, so in that time we have to see what is the maximum thickness of solar cell can be achieved. So while making solar cell we have to take this consideration. So first of all there will be a layer of glass substrate, then ITO layer, then other chemical like fluorine, that will and all containing 400 nanometer, PEDOT substrate that containing around 40 nanometer, and P3HT fullerene there is around 236 nanometer of the thickness, and calcium that is 20 nanometer, and aluminium it is containing 75 nanometer. By using all this material we make a thin layer of the surface. So by using all this component we can reduce the reflection. This and all the layer for the reducing reflection losses and also optical losses. So in this one the which type of material we have used, depending on this we can get the more number of light can travel to inside solar cell. So in this image you can see during 2008 there will be a thickness of 200 micrometer at the surface can be achieved at the surface of solar cell. Okay, then next around 2010 that is called Perk solar cell, that the thickness is 120 meter. Then next during 2015 it reaches to 80 micrometer, and during 2020 it almost reached to 40 micrometers. As technology and time increases, the thickness of the surface and material also reduces. Now it is reached around 40 micrometer. So if we consider in the different like thin film or monocrystalline, there is also depending on the crystals of the silicon, we can get the different type of surface texturing. See, this top is indicate the PERC solar cell, then is IBC solar cell, and monocrystalline solar cell, microcell, and thin film, that and all achieved. In next one, we will see the recombination losses. What is recombination losses? So this losses is occurring during the recombination of electrons and holes. Due to this losses, it is affecting both the current and voltage, that is short circuit current and open circuit voltage. Recombination at the surface in the bulk solar cell are the main area of the recombination. So What are the recombination losses? That is, one is current losses due to recombination, another one is voltage losses due to recombination, and surface recombination also takes place. Now let's see the contact design of the solar cell. Why it is necessary to design contacts? Let's see. So in this solar cell, this vertical line is called as a bus bars. This horizontal line call it as a cell fingers. Why it is necessary? We will see. So when photons are incident on the solar cell, it will generate the electrical energy due to electrons and hole recombination. But in order to carry out, and if I want to get outside, like I want to charge some battery, I want to store that electrical energy, and I want to glow that light, I want some conducting path. So in order to carry that electricity from the recombination of electrons and holes, we need that conducting path, that is called bus bars. So these bus bars are placed in the rear side of the solar cell. Also, some of the contacts are need to make it as a back side of the solar cell. So how it will work? We will see that one. Basically, these contacts are made up of silver paste. Why? Because it is very good carry of current, and it will reduce the oxidation of the metal. See, if we use some iron or anything, copper, it will produce oxidation. Like as time goes, the water content will be coming on that copper or iron bar, and it will produce the oxidation like carbon oxide, ferrous oxide, that will be happen. So it will reduce the conduction of a current. So in order to prevent that one, we are using silver paste. These bus bars are made up of silver paste, and we will see what are these fingers. Finger is nothing but perpendicular to this conducting bus bars. So basically these conducting bus bars are producing DC voltage because it is containing a P and N type. So due to recombination, it is produced DC voltage. So how it will carry current? We will see. See, first of all, we have to see these fingers. What will happen when light is incident on this side or solar cell? So electron holes recombination takes place. What will do that? Due to electrons and holes recombination in particular area, it will generate that energy. Okay, these electrical energy carry through in these fingers, small amount of electrical energy. So if I place more number of fingers, all the fingers carry electrical energy, and it will passed into this bus bar. So finally all the voltages coming from this recombination carry towards this bus bar, and this bus bar collecting all the currents to its end. So finally what will happen? Each bus bar containing 1, 2, 3, 4. Generally all the solar cell having 4 bus bars that will carry the current, that is in the form of DC voltage. So finally we will know that fingers are collecting the recombination of the electron holes pair energy that will collect and will spread, and it send it to this bus bar, and this bus bar finally carry all the electron holes energy and passes to the outside. Then we will see what are the solar cell parameter, what and all solar cell containing. First of all, we have to see the substrate material. So basically solar cell containing the p type material, that is either boron or silicon. So base is containing the silicon material. So bulk crystalline is made up of silicon material, that is currently used in the market. This is called substrate material. Either it is N type or P type. Then what is the cell thickness? So after we get the silicon doping in a substrate, we will make a thin layer that is called wafer. Okay, using that wafer, we are doping N type and P type substrate. We will produce a cell. This cell thickness is around 100 to 500 micrometers. Then a doping base. Why we need doping base? Doping base is leads to the generation of voltage, and it is also having lower resistance. So if we have much higher doping concentration, we will get the high voltage. But sometimes this higher doping also damage the crystal. That is also we have to take care. So we have to make the concentration such a way that it should be tightly packed with the medium concentration of the doping with a particular area. Due to this scenario, we will get the sufficient amount of a higher open circuit voltage. This doping base can be aluminum or boron or anything that is called as a doping base, and its resistance should be 1 ohm. Then reflection control, that is nothing but reflection coating. What and all that we already discussed, anti-reflection coating that are made up of aluminum, that and all we have to use for the texturizing that it containing, that is present in the top of the solar cell. Next, emitter dopant. What is that one? In cell there are two types, like one is a p substrate and n substrate. Here N type it containing more number of silicon as compared to P type. So we have to choose how much dopant are required at the emitter side. So by this what we can do, P substrate make it as a positive terminal for the outside and N substrate make it as a negative terminal to the outside. These terminals are connected to the bus bar, and later it will be making aluminum contact for the plus and minus terminal. Then what is the thickness of this emitter? That is should be less than 1 micrometer. This layer should be very thin. So large fraction of the carriers are generated by the incoming light, and these are created within the diffusion length of the P and N junction. If you see the P and N junction substrate, you will get the small amount of diffusion length, that is also called as a depletion layer. So what is the doping level of the emitter? So this is nothing but how much of dopant has to be put on that emitter layer. That may be in 100 ohm per SPR, that is per cell. We can see there. This is nothing but dopant level. How much doping concentration has been putted on the emitter side. So by this how much electricity we can get or voltage we can get without any resistive losses. Next we will see the grid pattern. Grid pattern is nothing but that conducting lines, that is called as a bus bars basically. So we will see the fingers, it is around 20 to 200 micrometer width and placed 1 to 5 millimeter apart. Okay, we have to place a grid such a way that the overlapping of current should not be happen. So it is placed by 1 to 5 micrometer apart each other. So the resistivity of silicon is too high to conduct away all the current generated. So that's why we have to make such a way that it should having lower resistivity and place such a way that it should carry a current in a conductor. And rare contact, it is nothing but the contact to the outside world. So we will get the all the silicon because these silicon are placed in a series connection. So what we can do, we can't put all the silver in the each silicon cell. So what we are doing, We are making set of some finger that is are embedded with the silicon paste. Then these silicon paste are connected with the aluminium. So finally at the output side we want to two terminals that is are made up of aluminium or good conductor. So that is make for a rare contact to the outside. Now we will discuss the efficiency of the solar cell. We can see the how bus bars are placed. See, these are bus bars. Okay. Horizontal line is called as a fingers. Okay. I will use different color. Wait a minute. This is solar cell. This is bus bar. These are fingers. Okay. Basically what happened? There are more number of fingers we have. Okay. So let's suppose we will consider four fingers here. I will draw around 8. Okay. So now what I will do, these are the fingers are printed here. This is also containing the mixture of silver paste. It containing other alloy also that are made with the fingers, because finger is the small in size though that can be effectively used using silver. While placing the bus bar, first what we will do, we will put this much of silver. How much? Actually, basically how silver grids are placed like this. See, okay, it should be contacted. So what we can do, we can place this bus bar here, this bus bar here, this bus bar here, these bus bars are here. Okay. So now I required only small amount of silver paste. Okay, these are made as a bus bar also. Then what we'll do, I will take aluminium and I will just place over here. Okay, you can see, right? It is just a top of the silver. So it will see already it containing the this area. Now it is covered this area. Also this bus bar is covered this area. I just want to carry forward this current. So now I will use that aluminium. I will use this, just carry the current to outside. So like this I can do. Okay, actually here also it is containing less amount of silver paste. So all the electrons are present in this area, that electron holes are recombination that is carried towards this bus bar. Whatever present this area it will produce to here. So finally using aluminium and other some alloys I can produce voltage. Okay, this minus and plus terminal produce the voltage. Okay, this is the basic fundamental for the grids and bus. So now we will see the efficiency of the solar cell and its cost. Basically what happened, due to there will be a lot of fabrication cost involved and other some constraints, because we can't get highly effective atoms and we have to use some advanced technology, and under all the laboratory tests we have achieved efficiency of the crystalline solar cell, it is close to 25%. However, generally available solar panel in the market, it is around 14 to 17% maximum. Now it is reached around 18 to 19% in the market. So research is going on how we can reduce the cost, like what and all best way to design the paste for instead of silver paste for the grid and bus bar, and how much I can produce the wafer very effective way, how to use compound semiconductor using silicon germanium, how and all that and all research are going on. So by using this research we can get efficiency up to 25 to 30%. So in laboratory condition people are producing a much higher efficiency solar cell. Now around after 2020 to around 2025 we can get the 20% efficiency available solar modules. So in this lecture you have seen the solar cell function, solar cell fabrication, what are the parameters of the solar cell, how to reduce the optical loss, what are the basic content of solar cell like grids and bus bar, that and all you have seen in this lecture. In next lecture we will going to see how solar cell fabricated in the industry, how are the steps are required to fabricate one single solar cell. Then what are the types of solar cell like single crystalline, multicrystalline, and polycrystalline and amorphous. There are so many silicon solar cell available. That and all see in the next lecture. Thank you.